We are live. Welcome everybody to this week's episode of Two Sweet Converse, episode 18. I am one of your hosts, Nick O. What's up?
Everyone, hey, it's Steve-O here. How's it going?
What's up, everybody? Wild card. This message.
EJV, the real world champion of Two Sweet Cosplay.
Bullshit.
So, we're going to start off this episode with a little bit of bad news. As of Thursday, Bob Armstrong has passed away at the age of 80. And some breaking news that has occurred while we were about to start recording is Black Panther actor Chadwick Boseman has passed away at age 43 of colon cancer. So we here at Two Sweet Cosplay are sending our condolences to all the friends, fans, and family of those individuals. Very inspiring guy. Chadwick Boseman is definitely is a
yeah. I think we should do a little salute there.
Sure.
I can't do it because of my arms, but this is my best shot. Here you go.
On forever, guys. Yeah.
Wakanda forever.
Yes,
Yep.
But seriously,
Right.
also talking about Bullet Bob, one of the giants of the Southern Territories from places like Alabama and Tennessee, all those, basically the Southern Territories, like I just said. Of course, the father of Scott Armstrong and Road Dogg BG James Armstrong, who I believe Bullet Bob was also a Marine, if I remember correctly, just like BG. If I'm incorrect about that, I do apologize. But definitely deepest sympathies and condolences to his family as well. A true wrestling legend. And then Chadwick, an amazing actor who portrayed characters that were larger than life to begin with. So thank you for bringing characters like the Godfather of Soul, James Brown, the great Jackie Robinson, and even comic book characters such as, the Black Panther to the big screen and to life. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely it's definitely a sad week for entertainment in general. Like you said, Bullet Bob Armstrong, a legend in the wrestling business, one of the best to ever do it. And Chadwick Boseman, who basically led a generation for future African American lead actors, which is something that hasn't been seen in a long, long time. And both guys, where Bullet Bob led a long life. Unfortunately, Chadwick's ended very shortly. Send condolences to both the Armstrong and the Boseman families, and to all the fans and all of their comrades in their respective businesses. And Godspeed to them.
Yeah.
Very, very sad stuff. We were almost considering holding off the recording, but as they say, the show must go on. We made sure to pay our tribute to these two talented individuals. So we will go forward and we will try to lighten up the mood here. Very interesting night on Smackdown. Very interesting night at the Summerslam 2020 show this past Sunday. I'll start it off. Roman Reigns has returned to the WWE. He interfered during at the very end of the Universal title match, kind of bringing the "you won't see this coming" tagline into reality. With his return, I don't think any of us could have seen it coming, if you will. And just to give you an idea, there's going to be a payback. Payback's already happening this coming Sunday. So whether you were ready or not, we're getting another WWE pay-per-view. And some quick Two Sweet face-off stats. 55% of you wanted Roman Reigns to win. Mind you, this was well before SmackDown even aired. 40% of you wanted The Fiend to retain the title. Meanwhile, 5% of you, one person, wanted Braun Strowman to win his title back. But cutting to the chase, we saw at the very end of SmackDown tonight, Roman Reigns was refraining from signing a contract for that triple threat match. And the reason why is he needed a new associate. Paul Heyman is now with Roman Reigns. So that's a lot to take in. So I want to hear your guys' thoughts about Roman Reigns' return, if he's going to win the Universal Championship this Sunday, if he should already be back in the title picture. Let's just get some thoughts going. Who would like to start off this first topic? EJB, would you like to start off?
Sure thing. This is what surprises me about WWE, and this is a rare thing to say because it's WWE hasn't been known for this for a while, and that is the element of surprise. And you know, things get spoiled very easily because there are fans in attendance. Things leak out, photos get leaked out, especially if shows are pre-taped. This, however, both nights, SummerSlam and SmackDown, nothing was leaked because why? There are no fans live in attendance. And to me, that's what makes it right now, is that you can be surprised. You can be that. And with Roman coming back, making that impact on SummerSlam and tonight on SmackDown, as we're taping this, with Paul Heyman, which absolutely blew my fucking mind. it was glorious, man. It was great. It actually made me excited for this Sunday, which I never thought would happen. I'm actually emotionally invested in this match now that Paul Heyman is aligned with Roman. It's as far as Roman winning the match, at first I didn't really care if Roman won or not. Now I'm actually wanting Roman to win this match because of this alignment. I think it's gonna, with Roman turning heel now, which it seems like it is, and with him being aligned with Heyman, I think this just ups Roman's stock even further than we thought it could ever be. And I think him as champion could be a good thing. I mean, it's a bad thing in a sense. It could bury Bray Wyatt, which is something I'm scared of. But overall, I think if he does get the title back, I don't think it will be too much of a bad thing. Is it a little soon? Maybe. But once again, that's all up to interpretation, and we'll find out this Sunday at Payback.
All right, wild card. You wanted to go next?
I do. Yes.
All right,
yes.
awesome. Sure.
I love the fact that Roman is back. I never thought I would actually find myself saying that because I was one of those who would complain about Roman Reigns being shoved down our throats, when he was on WWE TV. But then, he was off, due for obvious reasons. But, seeing him back the way that he came back at SummerSlam, and, that was something that he found that I felt was missing with him. Almost like this edge that he needed to really get himself over. I mean, there was a point that he was a heel. I mean, you go back to his Shield days. I mean, he was pretty badass during that time. But, when they tried to roll with him as a face, I mean, it was almost like they were trying to, shove him down our throats, I felt like that was something that I was just like, okay, Roman again, yada, yada. This is the first time I was actually excited for Roman Reigns in a long time, just to see him do his thing. As far as what had happened tonight, I actually took the time to watch SmackDown. And when I saw the ending, I was just like, I bugged out because it was one of those endings that we haven't had in quite some time, kind of like what E was saying there, too. I mean, it's just that surprise factor that we were just missing the whole time. And, the fact that now that he's aligned with Paul Heyman, it's just going to boost his stock even more. As far as, him winning the championship, the Universal title at Payback, I'm for it, honestly. I would love to see him as a Universal champion again because I think right now with Paul Heyman by his side, he's going to be one hell of a champion. Whether he wins it this Sunday or not, I don't know. But I think at some point, especially with his new alliance with Paul Heyman right now, it's only a matter of time until we see the big dog take over SmackDown again.
All right, Nico, awesome thoughts, Wildcard EJB. Nico, what are your thoughts on the big dog being back?
Yeah, I mean, it was one of those things where the tagline was, You'll never see it coming, and for two shows in a row, actually 3 if you count Monday Night Raw to an extent, we saw things that we did not see coming. But in relation to Roman Reigns, I love it because as a wrestling fan, I was so angry at SummerSlam because when Roman got involved, because I thought, oh, I mean, and don't get me wrong, I understand the drawing power that is Roman Reigns. I get it. The man is money. If you don't think he's money, you're crazy. If you don't think the man can work as a wrestler or as a performer, you're absolutely nuts. I get it, but I was just like, no, I don't want to see this happen to the Fiend. I wanted to see whatever the hell's going on between the Fiend, Alexa, and Braun Strowman. You guys know me. That story captivated my attention. That intrigued me. However, when Roman comes back and you're like, okay, here we go, we're gonna get Roman Reigns into, the storyline. And then tonight on SmackDown when he goes, hold on, I'm not signing this contract just yet. In my head I was like, okay, is Roman going heel here? Like what? Does he need to make sure that his writer is okay? Make sure, WWE has the right amount of, green M&Ms in his locker room before he signs the contract to, compete for the Universal Championship. And then you see Paul Heyman. And it was one of those moments where I'm literally on the phone with my dad and I said, holy shit! Those are the beautiful moments about wrestling. And I immediately was like, okay, I take everything negative back I've ever said about Roman Reigns in my life because I think Roman's a great heel. And Andy, you talked about him being a heel when he was a member of the Shield. Look up find the small tidbit video when he was Liaki in a business suit with a Rolex watch in NXT. It's a very rare clip of him being a heel. That was the first time I ever saw. I was like, oh my god, this would make me a Roman Reigns fan. I don't necessarily see him being the guy who's, in the button-down suit with the Rolex watch. But God, if you give me an ounce of that and just let Roman be the cool, cocky mofo of like, yeah, I know how good I am. I know I run this shit. I know this is my yard. If you let Roman be that guy just a little bit. And Roman don't even got to talk. Paul Heyman can do that for him. But if you just let Roman come out there with that swagger, this Sunday at Payback, I want new gear. I want a new entrance theme for Roman. If you give me that, I guarantee you, I will be on the Roman Reigns bandwagon. I want to buy that shirt already for parody reasons. If you don't know what that parody reason is, read it again and figure it out. I'm pretty sure you'll get a chuckle out of it too. But for Roman Reigns this Sunday at Payback, as much as I love the Fiend Bray Wyatt and as much as I was digging whatever was going on between him and Alexa Bliss and Braun Strowman, if Roman comes with new theme music and new gear, I guarantee you this will be the talk of the town for wrestling, just like it's the talk of the town for the wrestling industry right now. I'm loving it.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, this is a hot angle. This is something that's been missing from the WWE for a long time. First thoughts, I thought it was cool that Roman Reigns returned. I was like, I do understand people being upset that stole the Fiend's moment, winning his second Universal Championship. I was kind of in that boat too. I was like, oh, really? But it was cool to see him back. Like at the very first, I was like, oh, is this a retribution attack? No, it's the big dog. Obviously, when I saw his face, I'm like, okay, that's Roman Reigns. Seeing that he was already in the that he's already in the Payback title match for the Universal Championship, just being back right in the way, I'm like, oh god, this is typical WWE, throwing the guy they want to be the top guy into the match as to win the championship. I'm like, oh gosh, they better not screw Bray Wyatt over again. But then Smackdown arrived, so I think this is going to be great stuff. I think that, they're probably getting pressure from Fox that their ratings aren't as great as they're hoping. I mean, fans have been complaining for a long time that WWE's stale and just isn't trying anything. Between SummerSlam and now, they are trying new things. They are really trying to get fans interested. I think they're finally caving in and saying, okay, let's see what we can do with Roman Reigns as heel. I'm knocking on wood, though, that they don't do something silly where Roman later on is like, you know what, I don't need you. I can do this on my own. But I don't think it will happen. It is going to be interesting to see what happens with him and Paul Heyman. Eventually, Brock Lesnar is going to come into the equation. I think that'll be very interesting down the line. But, if Roman Reigns winds up winning the Universal Championship this Sunday at Payback, I think that'll be just fine. I know I gave Payback yesterday a 3 out of 10 excitement on Let's Grapple, but I have a change of heart. I'm bumping it up to a 6 out of 10 just because of tonight's episode of Smackdown. But I'm very curious to see where they're going with Roman Reigns, especially with the ending of tonight's edition of Smackdown, and that's pretty much all I gotta say about that. So
real quick before we jump to the next topic, do you think just because of Roman's alignment with Heyman that it's almost a formality at this point that he's leaving Payback with the Universal title?
I want to say yes. They could always do something where maybe maybe there's still a screwy ending where Braun Strowman takes the pin from The Fiend, but I definitely don't see Roman Reigns getting pinned whatsoever. Wild card, what do you think? Do you think that what Nico said? Do you think that the alignment with Heyman is a guarantee that Roman Reigns is walking out, or no?
There's a high probability, in my opinion. But you never know with WWE. They can throw a curveball at you and do something else at the very last minute. But this is one of those I'll believe it when I see it moments.
EJB, what do you think? Do you think Roman will walk out of Payback with the championship now with this difference in ending?
It's like Andy said, it's basically it's going to be up to basically the booking. It's just going to be up to the last minute to see what's going to happen. I could see Roman walking out with it just because of what's going on with him and Heyman, but I don't think it's a 100% full-on guarantee because WWE has done things in the past where it seems like, oh, that person's going to win, that person's going to be victorious, and then they flip the script on us before and disappoint us. It probably depends on what move Vince McMahon is today and who pissed him off in the writing room, but I digress. I think personally, it's not a full-on guarantee, but I, in my opinion, I see Roman walking out with the Universal title.
And how about you, Nico? Before we get to the next topic, do you think Roman Reigns is walking out, or do you think they'll keep the belt on The Fiend, or maybe Roman wins?
See, I don't know. And maybe that's the beauty of this. I'm sorry if my dad yells in the background again. He's a big White Sox fan, and they're choking right now. Yay me, because I'm a Cubs fan. But I don't know because it works if Roman does get it because he's the heel. They wanted to put the title on him anyways back since Mania. So, that's something that they've been wanting to do. But then if they don't, it works also because then maybe you can have, Roman's heel character be like, what the fuck, I get screwed now, and he can kind of become, upset with the system that quote unquote made him. Kind of like how, remember when Bret Hart was turning heel and he got screwed and he's like, what? Everybody constantly screws me. Everybody turns a blind eye. Roman could go that route, or Roman could be the, Samoan badass who just destroys everyone in a more vicious way, and kind of wreck everything like his shirt says. I don't know. There are 101 possibilities here. And for the first time ever, I cannot believe I'm saying this, I'm excited for the outcome of a match that involves Roman Reigns. I'm excited. Like I said, as much as I would have loved the storyline to continue between Braun, The Fiend, and Alexa, maybe that does in a certain way. I love that they incorporated Scrap Iron Adam Pearce, who, yes, I know is a backstage agent in WWE, but I thought it was so funny how they made him, Mr. Rogers' mailman, and going to the Firefly Funhouse. That was cool.
That was hilarious.
That was hilarious. Walking in, with the postal service gear. I thought that was funny as hell. So I don't know, and I'm excited, and I'm glad I don't know. I'm glad going into a pay-per-view, and I remember when they said, oh my god, they're going to do another pay-per-view right after, SummerSlam. I'm excited for this more than I was SummerSlam, because I literally have no idea what is going to happen. And I love it.
Yeah, this is great. Maybe Payback will be a surprising show, but getting on to the next topic, it is the Cosplayer of the Week, so a segment where we reach out to the community, the cosplay community, and just have you be showcased on our show and stand out. So this week's cosplayer, his name is Francisco J. Rodriguez. He is also known as CM Pony. So I'll start off the first bullet point, then I can pass it off. This is Francisco's first appearance on Too Sweet Cosplay social media. He started cosplaying in 2010 around summertime, and his first convention was in Miami called SuperCon. I think it's 5. I've heard of that con, but yeah, I've never been. Who'd like to take it the next line?
I'll take the next one here.
All right, cool. Go for
it. So his first cosplay was Ricky Ghostbuster, an ideal character from the PS3 and Xbox 360 Ghostbusters, the video game.
All right. He started watching wrestling where he and his cousins watched WWF Royal Rumble 1991. His parents were huge fans of the Road Warriors, Legion of Doom, and he was a fan of the Ultimate Warrior, Randy Savage, and Hulk Hogan, brother. He continued watching WWE while growing up in Juncos, Puerto Rico, and later on in Mannheim, Germany. The fun fact is that he played WCW Nitro on Cartoon Network and TNT on Fridays in Germany.
Correction. It was actually that the channel played WCW Nitro on Cartoon Network and TNT. It's okay. No big deal.
Hey, well, I was just gonna say that this guy is he's traveled. Sounds like he's traveled the world.
Yeah, man. Homeboy seems pretty cool.
So some of his favorite wrestlers include, and by the way, he started watching wrestling a similar time to me, so that's pretty awesome with the 1991 Royal Rumble. But anyways, his favorite wrestlers include The Undertaker, Darby Allin, Bray Wyatt, Doink the Clown, a.k.a. Matt Osborne, The Mountie, Big Boss Man, good choice there, Corey, Pedro Morales, and last but not least, CM Punk. There's plenty of more, but the list is very long, so.
My guy.
All right, wild card. I'll take the next one here. So Francisco's signature cosplays are the Angry Video Game Nerd, pretty awesome. A My Little Pony WWE mashup of CM Punk. I gotta see this. Named CM Pony. I love it. And was featured in AMC's Comic Book Men, Season 4, Episode 5 of BronyCon. That's the title of the episode, as part of the cosplay contest montage. Also, his other ones include Longface from My Little Pony and Sweet Tooth, the clown from the video game Twisted Metal. It's pretty awesome there. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, awesome with AGV and yeah.
Yeah, I got
both games.
I gotta watch this and check this out here.
All right, who would like to do the last bullet point?
I'll do it. I can do it.
Go ahead.
All right, go
Francis, I'm gonna just look down at my screen here to make sure I read it properly. Francisco's final message before the video package. He just celebrated my 33rd birthday. He got new CM Punk gear. Headed on Money in the Bank 2011. Great choice because I was there also. That he was gonna debut in 2020, but delayed until 2021. All con/birthday plans were canceled this year due to COVID. To make matters worse, he was tested positive back in May for COVID of this year. Okay, anybody else want to read the rest? Because I'm getting a little bit emotional just reading it because I kind of feel...
I'll take it, man. Wow, that's quite the story there, Francisco. But to continue on, so he did test positive back in May of this year. But after 10 to 14 days of being quarantined, and I quote, "I made a speedy recovery by eating healthy food like fruits, vegetables, and soup, drinking organic immunity tea with honey, and avoiding junk food, Kudos to you, man. And his one birthday wish is that he wants the pandemic to come to an end and that the vaccine is found for the public. When it happens and everything is back to normal, first thing I want to do is attend my first anime convention that is officially open after the pandemic. Everyone else is feeling the same of being isolated in their homes, as events and gatherings are either canceled or postponed, and being away from family and friends. But we all have to hope for the best and be strong as 2020 continues to drag on. His final message: stay safe, everyone, and follow all CDC guidelines, and together we can make it through. Stay straight edge.
Very nice message there, Francisco, aka CM Pony.
Yeah, so, I was say, Francisco, man, you should check out our previous podcast regarding Wizard World, and we have a nice talk about cons and past episodes where we talk about our thoughts on that. So just something to food for thought there.
All right, so now we are gonna get into Francisco's awesome cosplay. So come check them out right here. So we are back, and that was Francisco, aka CM Pony. So very powerful message there, Francisco. Thank you so much for asking to be on the page and being part of it. Just we hope to see more of your stuff soon. So stay strong and continue being healthy. If you wish to be a cosplayer of the week, please send us a message over on Facebook or Instagram. Send in a request and we will get you on a future episode of Two Sweet Converse. So, yeah.
Hey, send us your stuff.
There it is.
There it is. That's the line we were looking for. Now we're going to close off this show with another topic, a very big topic here, and a main roster debut. Keith Lee is now officially part of the Raw roster in WWE. He unfortunately lost his NXT title to Karrion Kross this past Saturday at NXT TakeOver 30. Now he's on the main roster. He has a new look, a new theme that most people aren't very receptive to. And from Two Sweet Face-Off stats, 80% of you want Keith Lee to win this Sunday in his match against Randy Orton, while 20% of you want Randy Orton to win this match. So what I want to hear from you guys is, do you think that Keith Lee is being pushed to the main roster too soon? Do you think he lost the NXT title too soon? And do you think there's any chance that he will, kind of be fine, or will he be part of the NXT curse? Nico, I'll let you start this one off.
Yeah, I'm going to go first just so I can mute my mic in case my dad loses his self again in celebration of the White Sox beating the Kansas City Royals. What a great guy. Piece of shit. Anywho, no, I think Keith Lee, first of all, quick shout out to both Keith Lee and Karrion Kross. Match of the entire weekend, in my opinion, last week. It was the best wrestling match that was on anything Saturday night, including AEW Dynamite and the rest of NXT TakeOver 30. It was the best wrestling match, in my opinion, than what they showed on SummerSlam. And of course, Keith Lee blew up very early on in the match, and Karrion Kross, as we all know by now, suffered a injury early on in the match and still finished said match. Um, so kudos to both gentlemen for that. Now, Keith Lee going to the main roster. We all know that Vince McMahon loved him, and was a huge fan of Keith Lee. Seeing his performance at Survivor Series, in the build leading up to Survivor Series, we were all there at Survivor Series, and we saw his stare down with Roman Reigns. Keith Lee was the only guy out of anybody on the NXT team NXT that night who really looked and felt like he belonged with the big boys, so to speak. So then his performance at the Royal Rumble even got more oohs and ahs and attention from the right people. I think even though Vince McMahon might try to make Keith Lee one of his many projects, I think Keith Lee will win him over just because of how how passionate Keith Lee is and how great of a performer Keith Lee is. I think he'll win him over in time. I think he's going to struggle a little bit, especially right now. The audience wants to pick him apart over something so minute, such as entrance music. But that's something that's out of Keith Lee's control. I think he'll get over that. Give it some time. Maybe if Keith Lee was in better ring shape, and this isn't me knocking him, but maybe that's why they decided to change his attire. Because, of course, as we know, while he was in NXT, he just wrestled in, tights of the underwear short variety and nothing else. But when you're on live TV every single week and you have Vince McMahon who has the final say, so he's going to want you to look a certain way. So I think maybe if Keith Lee can just get a little bit more muscle, just enough to where he doesn't look like he's blown up after a couple minutes. I know I'm going on here, but I think Keith Lee, long story short, I think Keith Lee will be fine. He might struggle a bit at first, but this guy is way too talented as a wrestler, as a performer. He's way too charismatic. I think Keith Lee will be fine in the WWE, and I definitely see him being a world champion in the future. I think Randy deserves to win the match at Payback more just because of the momentum he's on right now, but we'll see. I'm going to go with Randy, but I wouldn't be surprised if Keith Lee somehow wins it, because then maybe we can get a program between Drew and Keith where Drew's like, hey, Keith, I don't need you to fight my battles for me, or something like that.
Very nice. Wild card. How about your thoughts on Keith Lee?
I gotta point something out about his entrance music that maybe if you guys probably knew already, but this is just for the public who may have not known. WWE's most of the themes that they was created by the CFO $. Is that what it is? Yeah, is that the name of the band?
Yeah, it's CFOS.
CFOS. Okay,
but
all right.
The $sign is in the name, but they go by CFOS.
CFOS. Okay, because do you guys know that they're not with WWE? They actually split up, though, right?
Yeah, because of an issue with the publishing company not wanting to work with WWE.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Basically, yeah. I mean, kind of one of the reasons why Keith Lee's entrance was changed there too. And to be perfectly honest, I wasn't too wowed by it, because it just seemed too generic on his part. But anyway, back to Keith Lee, his debut on Raw. It was around that time to, that it was about time that Lee would eventually go up to the main roster. I mean, I got to be honest. I think we all thought he was going to have a little bit of a longer run with the NXT title. I certainly did. It's just like what we talked about last week, because it was like a lose-lose situation with Keith Lee and Karrion Kross, because somebody was going to lose momentum, and just so happened that Keith Lee lost it, but for good reason, because he was going to get called up the next day or the following week after that. I do like this program that he's on with Randy, because I think that's going to help boost his stock a little bit more. But the thing is, this is what really concerns me. Could he be a potential world champion later? Yes, absolutely. The guy can work. He can go. But we've seen this before with a lot of NXT guys who get called up to the main roster. Got a couple of guys I'm thinking of right now, the Viking Raiders, the Street Profits, Aleister Black, and just to name a few. And honestly, once they got called up to the main roster, there just hasn't really been a whole lot of pomp and circumstance over that, because they somehow get lost in the shuffle. I mean, think about it. I mean, Apollo Crews took this long to actually win his United States Championship, and he's been with the company for God knows how long. That's the thing that's bothering me about this call-up a little bit, because I'm a little concerned that, with somebody as talented as Keith Lee, is he going to get lost in the shuffle? Is he going to eventually, there's like big buzz around him too. Matt Riddle's another guy to consider too, because a lot of these guys who made their name in NXT, they get called up and they don't necessarily make it this far. They don't make it all the way to the top. The only guy that has actually had that success is Drew McIntyre. So, the thing is, if they follow that same formula of him getting lost in the shuffle, that'd just be really disappointing, just because, Keith Lee, for a big guy, he can go. He can seriously go. He can go with anybody in the ring. And if he... if they don't do anything with him, that's just a waste of space right there. That's just my thoughts on that. But we're just gonna have to wait and see how this plays out.
All right, EJB, let's hear your thoughts.
Yeah. When I saw that Keith Lee lost the title to Karrion Kross, I didn't think nothing of him going straight to the main roster right off the bat until we saw the announcement of SummerSlam. But I thought he had a good showing on Monday, and I thought he looked really good. Of course, Keith's got charisma. He's got the natural ability. He's a great talker. Of course, the thing I would like for him to show is a little bit more aggression, like he showed towards the end of his NXT run. But we'll see if that comes back around later on. But yeah, little quick note on the whole entrance theme and gear thing. Keith Lee put on Twitter, he told everybody to relax, that he would handle it. Because like I said, really it's out of his hands. Because like I said, with CFOS, it's just an issue with the fact that CFOS try to work with WWE solely and get out of their publishing deal, but the publishing company didn't want to work with them and said no way. And so they actually got out of their contracts and disbanded at the same time. So that's why a new theme was created. That's part of the reason why Seth's theme got changed and a lot of other people's themes, old themes from CFOS, you won't be hearing in the future. But back to Keith Lee, I have a feeling that he could be the big star that we think he is. It's just going to be dependent on the booking, on where he's going to be placed. And he's got a great start with Randy Orton. You can't work with nobody better on that Monday Night Raw roster than Randy Orton. He's seen it all, done it all. We know all of his accolades. And to me, it's a great match of styles too. It's just a matter of, will he get, like Andy said, will he get lost in the shuffle? Will he end up being just another person on the roster who ends up in backstage segments with whoever it is, whether it be an Elias or whether it be a Street Profits or whatever, or is he going to be and I think he has all the tools to be a world champion, 100%. It's all up to interpretation right now, as none of us have a crystal ball. We can't predict the future. But in my opinion, I see Keith Lee being a world champion. It's just depending on where he's placed, starting from this point on in the storylines and in the booking, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, great points all around, you guys. With Keith Lee, like, I mean, he's a badass. Very talented individual. Yeah, I remember all of us watching him at the Survivor Series going one-on-one with the big dog at the end of that triple threat Raw versus SmackDown versus NXT team elimination match. That was great. That made Keith a star. I was like, okay, this guy's going to be huge on the main roster one of these days. I do think that it did feel a little rushed that Keith Lee was coming to Raw. Like, they announced it the next night on SummerSlam after he lost the title on NXT. I kind of feel like, I don't know, it just felt a little too rushed. I don't know, was it like 30 days his title reign was, or was it even that? I don't know. But no, I mean, like, I think he's awesome. I don't mind the ring gear change as much. Maybe the colors could be a little different. But I kind of get it. You know, he's a bigger dude, and they didn't really. Vince McMahon probably is like, that's not a physique I want on him. But I mean, you got guys like the Big Show. He wears the singlet. Mark Henry would wear it. They wouldn't go, shirtless or whatever when having their matches. But I mean, I'm not too worried about that. The new theme song wasn't my cup of tea. I'm sure they'll come up with something a little better. The backlash was very high among the wrestling community, and rightfully so. I can't blame them too much. But now, as how he'll fare, yeah, I mean, the problem is you already have like your established guys on the main roster. So when you bring up these NXT main eventers, they kind of, they either have to prove, okay, we can sell more, we can do this better than the guys that currently on the main roster. Your AJ Styles, your Roman Reigns, your Brock Lesnar. You can go forward with any of those names, but yeah, that's kind of the problem. So they either rise to the top of the mid card, or they end up eventually just form a tag team with somebody else. I mean, it's a good start that Keith Lee's already feuding with Randy Orton. You really can't get a better program at that unless he challenges Drew McIntyre on his first night on Raw. But to already have a pay-per-view match coming up with Randy Orton, I think that's great. I mean, we'll see. I think he's going to be floundering in the mid-card for a while, but I could see him rise to the top. I mean, they've already kind of given hints with the whole Survivor Series theme, like I mentioned. While he didn't fare too well with Brock Lesnar in the Royal Rumble this year, it's kind of like they had enough confidence where they had them do kind of the stare down. Yeah, I think that Keith Lee is going to be okay in the long run, but yeah, that's just pretty much my takes right here. I think that he may take a while to get to the top, but I could see him eventually get to the top. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to cut you off. I was trying to agree with you, because that moment you were talking about with Keith Lee and Brock, it was a moment that the camera didn't even intend to catch. They just caught it. Was when Keith Lee got into the ring at the Royal Rumble, you literally see Brock Lesnar go, "Whoa, that's a big boy." I really got to step up my game here. So when you have a guy like Brock Lesnar, which I don't care what you say about Brock Lesnar or not, that's a legit beast, no pun intended, of a man and of an athlete. So when you have somebody like Brock who gives Keith Lee the stamp of approval, when you have somebody like Roman Reigns who gave Keith Lee the stamp of approval after Survivor Series and said, "Hey, Keith Lee, let's run it back." Countless of other people, CM Punk put over Keith Lee after NXT TakeOver War Games, and countless of other men in the industry have put over Keith Lee. I think the one thing for him that he needs right now is maybe getting a little bit better of ring shape. I'm not shaming him or anything, but maybe just a little bit of ring conditioning, just so the higher ups can see, hey, we can trust this guy to go 25, 30 minutes. Because unfortunately, that's what you need for a big time main eventer. I know people are like, "Oh, but Brock Lesnar doesn't do that." Hey, Brock Lesnar doesn't need to do that anymore. He used to do that, and he still could if he had to. But he did that with Eddie Guerrero. He did that with Kurt Angle and guys like Punk and even Cena way back when. I think if you can get Keith in just a little bit better ring conditioning, he's a star. He can go on the mic, maybe lose this gentleman's gimmick he's got going right now. Because, I mean, to quote Keeping It 100, I didn't know whether he was there to, kiss Randy Orton's ass or kick his ass, but that's me putting it lightly. But, like, Keith Lee's a star. He's gonna make it. I firmly believe that.
Very nice. So, yeah, lots of great discussion here between Roman Reigns and Keith Lee. Big futures for both of them. We'll see where it all goes. But hey, thank you for tuning in to this episode of Too Sweet Converse here on the Too Sweet Cosplay YouTube channel. We also value your opinion, so please share any thoughts you have in the comment section on what you think of either man's future, be it Roman Reigns turning heel and just Keith Lee's main roster run in general. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like and subscribe to the Too Sweet Cosplay YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. And also follow us at Too Sweet Cosplay on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter as well.
Hold on. Hold up your cereal.
Too sweet,
Andy,
guys.
hold up your mask.
All right, everyone. Too sweet, everybody. Have a
Too sweet, guys.